Okay, so another Apple event, new stuff is being launched, and the main attraction was the MacBooks. Before we get to that, there's some other things Apple launched. So Apple unveiled the AirPods 3 with spatial audio, and there were some new colors for the HomePod Mini. There's also a cheaper membership plan for Apple Music, so you can listen to it on your HomePod, like without any physical interaction. Okay, with that out of the way, it's time for the new chips. So people were speculating that the new chip might be called the M1X, but well, Apple did the most Apple thing and decided to call it the M1 Pro. And not one, two chips were released. So there's the M1 Pro and the M1 Pro Max. I almost said Pro Max. The M1 Max. Apple claims that it's 3 times faster than the M1. It has a 10-core CPU with 8 performance cores and 2 efficiency cores. And they also claim that it has 70% faster CPU performance than the M1. The M1 Pro also has a 16-core GPU, and it claims to have 2 times faster graphics performance than the M1. From what they're saying, M1 Pro sounds like a beast of a chip, but that's not the only one. Then there's also the M1 Max, not the Pro Max, the Max. It has the same 10-core GPU with 2 efficiency cores and 8 performance cores, but the GPU is doubled to 32 cores with 4 times faster performance than the M1. Now this time Apple actually showed some labeled graphs, but it wasn't very, informational. It was basically just a graph of the performance of the M1 chips compared to the Intel chips based on their efficiency. And well, from what they claim and from what we can see from the M1, the new Apple chips consume a lot less power. If you go towards the Windows side, you can see that if you want such power as Apple claims to be giving the M1 Pro and the M1 Max, you will have to go towards the gaming side. For example, a high-end gaming laptop or the Razer Blades. And it's really astonishing considering that it lies somewhere in that territory with such less power consumption. Now to the interesting part. They redesigned the MacBook. There's a 14-inch and a 16-inch. They both have the same options. The 14-inch is basically like a smaller version of the 16-inch MacBook. First of all, the touch bar is gone. We actually have physical keys now, which for some people might be great news, or like for most people. I personally was a fan of the touch bar, but it being gone, well, let's just say it won't be missed. The keyboard layout is slightly changed. The keyboard has a black background, and well, all the function keys are back. That's the main thing. Now the ports. The ports on the MacBook are back, and well, there's an HDMI port, an SD card port, believe it or not, 3 Thunderbolt ports, a headphone jack which supports high fidelity audio, and MagSafe. The rumors are true, MagSafe is back, and it has USB-C on the other end, so it is detachable. They also increased the charging speed and well, made the battery life better thanks to the efficiency of the new chips. Now the M1 MacBook battery life was already insane, and if this is even better than the M1 as Apple claims, well, battery life is just getting too good on laptops now. It does have a new display, and yes, there's a notch. There's a notch right there on the top of the display. Now, it's a notch like you would use an iPhone. You don't really notice the notch after a couple of days, but I'm not a huge fan of the design. It's okay. I mean, you won't notice it that much. It does give you a little more screen real estate since your apps don't go on the extra screen. That extra space due to the notch is mainly just used for the menu bar. The bezels on the side are also slightly smaller. And well, this was a sudden shock, but they did bring ProMotion to the MacBook as well. Now, I did not expect this, but it's ProMotion. What can you say? Everyone loves high refresh rate display. It is adaptive, and you can also go into settings and lock the refresh rate. The screen is a Liquid Retina HDR display, and it also has the same mini LED technology from the new iPad Pros. Now the information we see from the more graphs that Apple showed is that this is way faster than the maxed out i9 version of the 16-inch MacBook Pro in ML, GPU and CPU performance. Now the pricing, the part we've all been waiting for, or we all waited for when we watched the event. If you haven't, well, here's the prices for you. The 14-inch MacBook starts at $1599 and the 16-inch starts at $2499. But there's a big asterisk here. The 14-inch MacBook with the base model, that's it only has 8 cores instead of the 10. And towards the GPU, it only has 14 of the 16 cores, the base model. So if you want both the 16 and 10 core version, well, you have to give $500 more. Yeah, it's Apple. I'm excited to see new benchmark and performance analysis of the MacBook. Well, that's all for this video, so make sure you subscribe.